Belgium. Belgium, officially the Kingdom of Belgium, is a country in Western Europe. It is bordered by the Netherlands to the north, Germany to the east, Luxembourg to the southeast, France to the southwest, and the North Sea to the northwest. It covers an area of 30,689 square kilometers, 11,849 square miles, and has a population of more than 11.5 million, making it the 22nd most densely populated country in the world and the 6th most densely populated country in Europe, with a density of 376 per square kilometers, 970 per square miles. The capital and largest city are Brussels. Other major cities are Antwerp, Ghent, Charleroi, and Liège. Legally, Belgium is a sovereign state and a federal constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system. Its institutional organization is complex and is structured on both regional and linguistic grounds. It is divided into three highly autonomous regions: the Flemish region in the north, Wallonia in the south, and the Brussels Capital Region. Brussels is the smallest and most densely populated region, as well as the richest region in terms of GDP per capita. Belgium is home to two main linguistic groups or communities: the Dutch-speaking Flemish community, which constitutes about 60% of the population, and the French-speaking community, which comprises about 40% of all Belgians. A small German-speaking community, numbering around 1%, exists in the East Cantons. The Brussels Capital Region is officially bilingual, French and Dutch, although French is the dominant language. Belgium's linguistic diversity and related political conflicts are reflected in its political history and complex system of governance made up of 6 different governments. Historically, Belgium is part of an area known as the Low Countries, a somewhat larger region than the current Benelux group of states that also included parts of northern France and western Germany. Its modern name is derived from the Latin word Belgium, used in Julius Caesar's Gallic War to describe the region in the period around 55 BCE. From the end of the Middle Ages until the 17th century, the area of Belgium was a prosperous and cosmopolitan center of commerce and culture. Between the 16th and early 19th centuries, Belgium served as the battleground between many European powers, earning the moniker the Battlefield of Europe, a reputation strengthened by both world wars. The country emerged in 1830 following the Belgian Revolution when it seceded from the Netherlands. History of Belgium. The Belgae were the inhabitants of the northernmost part of Gaul, which was significantly bigger than modern Belgium. Caesar used the word Belgium once to refer to their region. Gallia Belgica, as it was more commonly called, became a Roman province as a result of his conquests. Areas closer to the Rhine frontier, including the eastern part of modern Belgium, eventually became part of the province of Germania Inferior, which interacted with Germanic tribes outside the empire. At the time when the central government collapsed in the Western Roman Empire, the region of Belgium was inhabited by a mix of Frankish tribes and a more Romanized population. During the 5th century, the area came under the rule of the Merovingian kings, who had already seized power in what is northern France. A gradual shift of power during the 8th century led the Kingdom of the Franks to evolve into the Carolingian Empire. The Treaty of Verdun in 843 divided the Carolingian Empire into 3 kingdoms, whose borders had a lasting impact on medieval political boundaries. Most of modern Belgium was in the Middle Kingdom, later known as Lotharingia. Only the coastal county of Flanders became part of West Francia, the predecessor of France. In 870 in the Treaty of Meersen, modern Belgium lands all became part of the Western Kingdom, and in 1880 in the Treaty of Ribemont, Lotharingia came under the lasting control of the Holy Roman Emperor, but the lordships along with the March frontier between the two great kingdoms maintained important connections. Many of these fiefdoms were united in the Burgundian Netherlands of the 14th and 15th centuries. Emperor Charles V extended the personal union of the 17 provinces in the 1540s, making it far more than a personal union by the Pragmatic Sanction of 1549, and increased his influence over the Prince-Bishopric of Liège. The 80 Years' War (1568–1648) divided the Low Countries into the northern United Provinces, Belgica Foederata in Latin, the Federated Netherlands, and the southern Netherlands, Belgica Regia, the Royal Netherlands. The latter were ruled successively by the Spanish Netherlands and the Austrian Habsburgs Austrian Netherlands, and comprised most of modern Belgium. This was the theater of several more protracted conflicts during much of the 17th and 18th centuries involving France, including the Franco-Dutch War (1672–1678), the 9 Years' War (1688–1697), the War of the Spanish Succession (1701–1714), and part of the War of the Austrian Succession (1740–1748). Following the campaigns of 1794 in the French Revolutionary Wars, the Low Countries, including territories that were never nominally under Habsburg rule, such as the Prince-Bishopric of Liege, were annexed by the French First Republic, ending Austrian rule in the region. The reunification of the Low Countries as the United Kingdom of the Netherlands occurred at the dissolution of the First French Empire in 1814, after the abdication of Napoleon. Geography of Belgium. Belgium shares borders with France 620 kilometers, Germany 167 kilometers, Luxembourg 148 kilometers, and the Netherlands 450 kilometers. Its total surface, including the water area, is 30,689 square kilometers, 11,849 square miles. Before 2018, its total area was believed to be 30,528 square kilometers, 11,787 square miles. However, when the country's statistics were measured in 2018, a new calculation method was used. Unlike previous calculations, this one included the area from the coast to the low water line, revealing the country to be 160 square kilometers, 62 square miles, larger in surface area than previously thought. Its land area alone is 30,278 square kilometers. It lies between latitudes 49 degrees 30 and 51 degrees 30 N, and longitudes 2 degrees 33 and 6 degrees 24 E. Belgium has three main geographical regions: the coastal plain in the northwest and the Central Plateau both belong to the Anglo-Belgian Basin, and the Ardennes uplands in the southeast to the Hercynian orogenic belt. The Paris Basin reaches a small fourth area at Belgium's southernmost tip, Belgian-Lorraine. The coastal plain consists mainly of sand dunes and polders. Further inland lies a smooth, slowly rising landscape irrigated by numerous waterways, with fertile valleys and the northeastern sandy plain of the Campine-Kempen. The thickly forested hills and plateaus of the Ardennes are more rugged and rocky with caves and small gorges. Extending westward into France, this area is eastwardly connected to the Eifel in Germany by the High Fens Plateau, on which the Signal de Botz range forms the country's highest point at 694 meters (2,277 feet). The climate is maritime temperate with significant precipitation in all seasons, Köppen Climate Classification (CFB), like most of Northwest Europe. The average temperature is lowest in January at 3 degrees Celsius (37.4 degrees Fahrenheit) and highest in July at 18 degrees Celsius (64.4 degrees Fahrenheit). The average precipitation per month varies between 54 mm (2.1 in) for February and April to 78 mm (3.1 in) for July. Averages for the years 2000 to 2006 show daily temperature minimums of 7 degrees Celsius (44.6 degrees Fahrenheit) and maximums of 14 degrees Celsius (57.2 degrees Fahrenheit) and monthly rainfall of 74 mm (2.9 in). These are about 1 degree Celsius and nearly 10 mm above last century's normal values, respectively. Phytogeographically, Belgium is shared between the Atlantic European and Central European provinces of the Circumboreal region within the Boreal Kingdom. According to the Worldwide Fund for Nature, the territory of Belgium belongs to the ecoregion of Atlantic mixed forests. Because of its high population density, industrialization and its location in the center of Western Europe, Belgium still faces some environmental problems. However, due to consistent efforts by the various levels of government in Belgium, the state of the environment in Belgium is gradually improving. This led to Belgium being ranked as one of the top 10 countries, 9 out of 132, in terms of environmental protection trends, and to Belgium being ranked in 2012 as the 24th country out of 132 for environmental protection. Belgium moreover has one of Europe's highest waste recycling rates. In particular, the Flemish region of Belgium has the highest waste diversion rate in Europe. Almost 75% of the residential waste produced there is reused, recycled, or composted. Politics in Belgium. Belgium is a constitutional, popular monarchy and a federal parliamentary democracy. The bicameral federal parliament is composed of a Senate and a Chamber of Representatives. The former is made up of 50 senators appointed by the parliaments of the communities and regions and 10 co-opted senators. Prior to 2014, most of the Senate's members were directly elected. The Chamber's 150 representatives are elected under a proportional voting system from 11 electoral districts. Belgium has compulsory voting and thus maintains one of the highest rates of voter turnout in the world. The king, currently Philippe, is the head of state, though with limited prerogatives. He appoints ministers, including a prime minister, that has the confidence of the Chamber of Representatives to form the federal government. The Council of Ministers is composed of no more than 15 members. With the possible exception of the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers is composed of an equal number of Dutch-speaking members and French-speaking members. The judicial system is based on civil law and originates from the Napoleonic Code. The Court of Cassation is the court of last resort, with the courts of appeal one level below. Foreign relations in Belgium. Because of its location at the crossroads of Western Europe, Belgium has historically been the route of invading armies from its larger neighbors. With virtually defenseless borders, Belgium has traditionally sought to avoid domination by the more powerful nations which surround it through a policy of mediation. The Belgians have been strong advocates of European integration. Both the European Union and NATO are headquartered in Belgium. Armed forces in Belgium. The Belgian armed forces have about 47,000 active troops. In 2010, Belgium's defense budget totaled €3.95 billion, representing 1.12% of its GDP. They are organized into one unified structure which consists of four main components: land component, or the Army, air component, or the Air Force, naval component, or the Navy, medical component. The operational commands of the four components are subordinate to the Staff Department for Operations and Training of the Ministry of Defense, which is headed by the Assistant Chief of Staff Operations and Training, and to the Chief of Defense. The effects of the Second World War made collective security a priority for Belgian foreign policy. In March 1948, Belgium signed the Treaty of Brussels and then joined NATO in 1948. However, the integration of the armed forces into NATO did not begin until after the Korean War. The Belgians, along with the Luxembourg government, sent a detachment of battalion strength to fight in Korea known as the Belgian United Nations Command. This mission was the first in a long line of UN missions which the Belgians supported. Currently, the Belgian naval component is working closely together with the Dutch Navy under the command of the Admiral Benelux. Economy of Belgium. Belgium's strongly globalized economy and its transport infrastructure are integrated with the rest of Europe. Its location at the heart of a highly industrialized region helped make it the world's 15th largest trading nation in 2007. The economy is characterized by a highly productive workforce, high GNP and high exports per capita. Belgium's main imports are raw materials, machinery and equipment, chemicals, raw diamonds, pharmaceuticals, foodstuffs, transportation equipment, and oil products. Its main exports are machinery and equipment, chemicals, finished diamonds, metals and metal products, and foodstuffs. The Belgian economy is heavily service-oriented and shows a dual nature, a dynamic Flemish economy and a Walloon economy that lags behind. One of the founding members of the European Union, Belgium strongly supports an open economy and the extension of the powers of EU institutions to integrate member economies. Since 1922, through the Belgium-Luxembourg Economic Union, Belgium and Luxembourg have been a single trade market with customs and currency union. Belgium was the first continental European country to undergo the Industrial Revolution, in the early 19th century. Liège and Charleroi rapidly developed mining and steelmaking, which flourished until the mid-20th century in the Sambre and Meuse Valley and made Belgium among one of the three most industrialized nations in the world from 1830 to 1910. However, by the 1840s the textile industry of Flanders was in severe crisis, and the region experienced famine from 1846 to 1850. After World War II, Ghent and Antwerp experienced a rapid expansion of the chemical and petroleum industries. The 1973 and 1979 oil crises sent the economy into a recession. It was particularly prolonged in Wallonia, where the steel industry had become less competitive and experienced a serious decline. In the 1980s and 1990s, the economic center of the country continued to shift northwards and is now concentrated in the populous Flemish Diamond area. By the end of the 1980s, Belgian macroeconomic policies had resulted in cumulative government debt of about 120% of GDP. As of 2006, the budget was balanced and public debt was equal to 90.30% of GDP. In 2005 and 2006, real GDP growth rates of 1.5% and 3.0%, respectively, were slightly above the average for the euro area. Unemployment rates of 8.4% in 2005 and 8.2% in 2006 were close to the area average. By October 2010, this had grown to 8.5% compared to an average rate of 9.6% for the European Union as a whole, EU 27. From 1832 until 2002, Belgium's currency was the Belgian franc. Belgium switched to the euro in 2002, with the first sets of euro coins being minted in 1999. The standard Belgian euro coins designated for circulation show the portrait of the monarch, first King Albert II, since 2013 King Philippe. Despite an 18% decrease observed from 1970 to 1999, Belgium still had in 1999 the highest rail network density within the European Union with 113.8 kilometers, 1,000 square kilometers. On the other hand, the same period, 1970 to 1999, has seen a huge growth, plus 56%, of the motorway network. In 1999, the density of km motorways per 1,000 square kilometers and 1,000 inhabitants amounted to 55.1 and 16.5 respectively and were significantly superior to the EU's means of 13.7 and 15.9. From a biological resource perspective, Belgium has a low endowment. Belgium's biocapacity adds up to only 0.8 global hectares in 2016, just about half of the 1.6 global hectares of biocapacity available per person worldwide. In contrast, in 2016, Belgians used on average 6.3 global hectares of biocapacity, their ecological footprint of consumption. This means they required about 8 times as much biocapacity as Belgium contains. As a result, Belgium was running a biocapacity deficit of 5.5 global hectares per person in 2016. Belgium experiences some of the most congested traffic in Europe. In 2010, commuters to the cities of Brussels and Antwerp spent respectively 65 and 64 hours a year in traffic jams. Like in most small European countries, more than 80% of the airways traffic is handled by a single airport, Brussels Airport. The ports of Antwerp and Zeebrugge, Bruges, share more than 80% of Belgian maritime traffic, Antwerp being the second European harbour with a gross weight of goods handled of 115,988,000 t in 2000 after a growth of 10.9% over the preceding 5 years. In 2016, the Port of Antwerp handled 214 million tons after a year-on-year growth of 2.7%. There is a large economic gap between Flanders and Wallonia. Wallonia was historically wealthy compared to Flanders, mostly due to its heavy industries, but the decline of the steel industry post-World War II led to the region's rapid decline, whereas Flanders rose swiftly. Since then, Flanders has been prosperous, among the wealthiest regions in Europe, whereas Wallonia has been languishing. As of 2007, the unemployment rate of Wallonia is over double that of Flanders. The divide has played a key part in the tensions between the Flemish and Walloons in addition to the already existing language divide. Pro-independence movements have gained high popularity in Flanders as a consequence. The separatist New Flemish Alliance (NVA) party, for instance, is the largest party in Belgium. Science and Technology of Belgium. Contributions to the development of science and technology have appeared throughout the country's history. The 16th century early modern flourishing of Western Europe included cartographer Gerardus Mercator, anatomist Andreas Vesalius, herbalist Rembert Dodoens and mathematician Simon Stevin among the most influential scientists. Chemist Ernest Solvay and engineer Zenobie Graham gave their names to the Solvay process and the Graham dynamo, respectively, in the 1860s. Bakelite was developed in 1907 to 1909 by Leo Baekeland. Ernest Solvay also acted as a major philanthropist and gave its name to the Solvay Institute of Sociology, the Solvay Brussels School of Economics and Management and the International Solvay Institutes for Physics and Chemistry, which are now part of the Université Libre de Bruxelles. In 1911, he started a series of conferences, the Solvay Conferences on Physics and Chemistry, which have had a deep impact on the evolution of quantum physics and chemistry. A major contribution to fundamental science was also due to a Belgian, Monseigneur Georges Lemaitre, Catholic University of Louvain, who is credited with proposing the Big Bang theory of the origin of the universe in 1927. 3 Nobel Prizes in Physiology or Medicine were awarded to Belgians: Jules Bordet, Université Libre de Bruxelles in 1919, Corneille Heymans, University of Ghent in 1938 and Albert Claude, Université Libre de Bruxelles, together with Christian de Duve, Université Catholique de Louvain in 1974. François Englert, Université Libre de Bruxelles, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2013. Ilya Prigogine, Université Libre de Bruxelles, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1977. 2 Belgian mathematicians have been awarded the Fields Medal, Pierre Deligne in 1978 and Jean Bourgain in 1994. Demographics of Belgium. As of November 1, 2019, the total population of Belgium according to its population register was 11,515,793. The population density of Belgium is 376 per square kilometers, 970 per square miles as of January 2019, making it the 22nd most densely populated country in the world, and the 6th most densely populated country in Europe. The most densely populated province is Antwerp, the least densely populated province is Luxembourg. As of January 2019, the Flemish region had a population of 6,589,069, 57.6% of Belgium, its most populous cities being Antwerp, 523,248, Ghent, 260,341, and Bruges, 118,284. Wallonia had a population of 3,633,795, 31.8% of Belgium, with Charleroi 201,816, Liege 197,355, and Namur 110,939, its most populous cities. The Brussels Capital Region has 1,208,542 inhabitants, 10.6% of Belgium, in the 19 municipalities, 3 of which have over 100,000 residents. In 2017, the average total fertility rate (TFR) across Belgium was 1.64 children per woman, below the replacement rate of 2.1. It remains considerably below the high of 4.87 children born per woman in 1873. Belgium subsequently has one of the oldest populations in the world, with an average age of 41.5 years. Languages in Belgium. Belgium has 3 official languages: Dutch, French, and German. A number of non-official minority languages are spoken as well. As no census exists, there are no official statistical data regarding the distribution or usage of Belgium's 3 official languages or their dialects. However, various criteria, including the languages of parents, of education, or the second language status of foreign-born, may provide suggested figures. An estimated 60% of the Belgian population are native speakers of Dutch, often referred to as Flemish, and 40% of the population speaks French natively. French-speaking Belgians are often referred to as Walloons, although the French speakers in Brussels are not Walloons. The total number of native Dutch speakers is estimated to be about 6.23 million, concentrated in the northern Flanders region, while native French speakers number 3.32 million in Wallonia and an estimated 870,000, or 85%, in the officially bilingual Brussels Capital Region. The German-speaking community is made up of 73,000 people in the east of the Walloon region. Around 10,000 German and 60,000 Belgian nationals are speakers of German. Roughly 23,000 more German speakers live in municipalities near the official community. Both Belgian Dutch and Belgian French have minor differences in vocabulary and semantic nuances from the varieties spoken respectively in the Netherlands and France. Many Flemish people still speak dialects of Dutch in their local environment. Walloon, considered either as a dialect of French or a distinct Romance language, is now only understood and spoken occasionally, mostly by elderly people. Walloon is divided into 4 dialects, which along with those of Picard, are rarely used in public life and have largely been replaced by French. Education in Belgium. Education is compulsory from 6 to 18 years of age for Belgians. Among OECD countries in 2002, Belgium had the 3rd highest proportion of 18 to 21-year-olds enrolled in post-secondary education, at 42%. Though an estimated 99% of the adult population is literate, the concern is rising over functional illiteracy. The Programme for International Student Assessment (PISA), coordinated by the OECD, currently ranks Belgium's education as the 19th best in the world, being significantly higher than the OECD average. Education being organized separately by each, the Flemish community scores noticeably above the French and German-speaking communities. Mirroring the dual structure of the 19th century Belgian political landscape, characterized by the Liberal and the Catholic parties, the educational system is segregated within a secular and a religious segment. The secular branch of schooling is controlled by the communities, the provinces, or the municipalities, while religious, mainly Catholic branch education, is organized by religious authorities, although subsidized and supervised by the communities. Culture in Belgium. Despite its political and linguistic divisions, the region corresponding to today's Belgium has seen the flourishing of major artistic movements that have had a tremendous influence on European art and culture. Nowadays, to a certain extent, cultural life is concentrated within each language community, and a variety of barriers have made a shared cultural sphere less pronounced. Since the 1970s, there are no bilingual universities or colleges in the country except the Royal Military Academy and the Antwerp Maritime Academy, no common media and no single large cultural or scientific organization in which both main communities are represented. Sports in Belgium. Since the 1970s, sports clubs and federations are organized separately within each language community. Association football is the most popular sport in both parts of Belgium. Also very popular are cycling, tennis, swimming, judo, and basketball. Belgians hold the most Tour de France victories of any country except France. They have also the most victories on the UCI Road World Championships. Philippe Gilbert is the 2012 world champion. Another modern well-known Belgian cyclist is Tom Boonen. With 5 victories in the Tour de France and numerous other cycling records, Belgian cyclist Eddy Merckx is regarded as one of the greatest cyclists of all time. Jean-Marie Pfaff, a former Belgian goalkeeper, is considered one of the greatest in the history of association football. Belgium hosted the 1972 European Football Championships and co-hosted the 2000 European Championships with the Netherlands. The Belgium national football team reached first place in the FIFA World Rankings for the first time in November 2015. Kim Clijsters and Justine Henin both were Player of the Year in the Women's Tennis Association as they were ranked the #1 female tennis player. The Spa-Francorchamps motor racing circuit hosts the Formula 1 World Championship Belgian Grand Prix. The Belgian driver, Jackie Ickx, won 8 Grand Prix and 6 24 Hours of Le Mans and finished twice as runner-up in the Formula 1 World Championship. Belgium also has a strong reputation in motocross with the riders Joel Robert, Roger de Coster, Georges Jabet, Eric Gabors, and Stefan Everts among others. Sporting events annually held in Belgium include the Memorial Van Damme Athletics Competition, the Belgian Grand Prix Formula 1, and a number of classic cycle races such as the Tour of Flanders and Liège-Bastogne-Liège. The 1920 Summer Olympics were held in Antwerp. The 1977 European Basketball Championship was held in Liège and Ostend. Belgium participated in the Industrial Revolution and, during the course of the 20th century, possessed a number of colonies in Africa. The second half of the 20th century was marked by rising tensions between the Dutch-speaking and the French-speaking citizens fueled by differences in language and culture and the unequal economic development of Flanders and Wallonia. This continuing antagonism has led to several far-reaching reforms, resulting in a transition from a unitary to a federal arrangement during the period from 1970 to 1993. Despite the reforms, tensions between the groups have remained, if not increased. There is significant separatism, particularly among the Flemish. Controversial language laws exist, such as the municipalities with language facilities, and the formation of a coalition government took 18 months following the June 2010 federal election, a world record. Unemployment in Wallonia is more than double that of Flanders, which boomed after the war. Belgium is one of the 6 founding countries of the European Union, and its capital, Brussels, hosts the official seats of the European Commission, the Council of the European Union, and the European Council, as well as one of 2 seats of the European Parliament, the other being Strasbourg. Belgium is also a founding member of the Eurozone, NATO, OECD, and WTO, and a part of the trilateral Benelux Union and the Schengen area. Brussels hosts several of the EU's official seats as well as the headquarters of many major international organizations such as NATO. Belgium is a developed country, with an advanced high-income economy. It has very high standards of living, quality of life, healthcare, education, and is categorized as very high in the Human Development Index. It also ranks as one of the safest or most peaceful countries in the world. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, click on like button. If you want to watch more videos like this, click on the subscription button below. It's free subscription.